new, lesser expensive, semi-integrated rest from Hamskea. Wonder what's different. Hello and welcome back to the YouTube channel. MFJJ here at podiumarcher.com, looking at the new Hamskea Everest rest. I got one of these a little over a week ago, and I have to confess this is the first moment I've had to even look at it. I apologize for that. From what I can tell from the literature and just initial glance over, it's very similar to an Epsilon on a diet with less features. You know, it's like your Epsilon was your Lexus and this is a Toyota. Okay, it's not quite as fancy. However, it has most things that a regular guy would care about. Full containment style launcher system. All internal bearings, sealed bearings. Doesn't integrate like an IMX, but it does come with the same bracketry styles that they had on the Epsilons, where you can still clear the low profile stuff on a Matthews or other bows such as that. A couple of improvements in here. They did mount the screws on the opposite side of this, so you can actually get to the up and down on this. Thank you. Now change the Epsilon, please. That's such a pain in the ass to move. This is way easier. It's just 2 screws and slides up and down, slides left to right. No micro adjust, kids. You're giving that up when you go to this rest. The other thing you're giving up is the wraparound bar that holds the articulating arm on the Epsilon. It's just a standard rod. So this is like a hybrid hunter versus a Trinity, if you know Hamskea's line. That's really the differences between these. No micro. You can still get it with the core mount. You can get it with the universal mount and the Matthews mount, or on our website for another 20 bucks. You can get it with my mount if you would like. But let's bolt this on a bow and see how it clears. Now, as you can see, we decided to move some things around a little bit. I have another vise coming in a week or so that will be freestanding, and we can move around it while we're filming stuff, because there has been a lot of comments down below of, man, I really wish I could see better what you're doing. So I'm listening, kids. I'm trying really hard to set it up in a manner in which you can really get some close shots at what we're looking at here. This model is the one with the universal bracket, which y'all know how I feel about that. But that's what they sent us, so we're going to go ahead and bolt it together. The universal bracket has this extra part in here that allows you to mount and move it left to right in there, which I don't personally feel is necessary, at least on most bows I've bolted it on. I've never had to move it outside of the middle holes, which is why I made the other bracket that I made just based off of the middle hole position, so it's just one piece, not two. Has these 2 little screws that they suggest you Loctite in here, and I would suggest you Loctite them too if you're going to use it. Comes with this little shelfie if you want to put that on the riser, and this is your pad for tying off the cord. I'm just going to bolt it on and make sure it has adequate clearance on this bow, which I'm sure it does, but we'll see better for you guys. In fact, now I'll put it all the way on because I think we need to test this bow today or tomorrow. So I'll need to do that anyway, so we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so when you do get this, the part that you need to attach is hidden into the rest. Now this is the change. That's the big good change from these guys, is they put the screws on this side. The Epsilon, the screws are on the other side, and it's really hard to get in here with a wrench because your cage and stuff is in the way. This, you just loosen them up here, pop it loose, slide it out, set it in the middle, see if we can get enough light to see that. There you go. There you go. Kind of hold it on with your finger. Use your other fingers to hold the screw. Get your right size Allen wrench. Next one up. Come on. There we go. Trying to do it with one hand, guys. Sorry. Okay. Whilst holding it, line it up. Screw it in. Grab your other one. Same thing. Okay, now put this back on here. And mind you, this is now a slide, it's not a micro, so when you stick it on there, it's just going to slop around. So it's not going to lock down like the micro did. So when you go to move these, you have to be a little more careful. But you are saving yourself 75 bucks, and basically the only real negative personally is the micro. The wraparound bar underneath is a nice feature, but in all honesty, it's probably not relevant or necessary. You're never going to wear the bearings that are in this thing out, and that's the intent of that sidearm, or if you fell on the rest. But if you fall on the rest, you're probably hitting the cage before you're hitting this. So I'm not sure that you really need that, and it does make this rest a little lighter. It's not quite as heavy, which is cool. I would love to see this rest in a micro adjust. I think that would be really your best overall combination option, just because you're ditching the weight that you really don't need over here. So let's try this out. There it is. I'm going to, actually, I need to get a shelf or something to set stuff on. Turn it sideways for you. Boom. Line up here. Oh, come on. There it goes. A little burr there. There you go. That should be relatively straight there, so I think I'm going to put it right about there. Give it a reef. Okay, now to tie these off, there's a bunch of different ways you can do it, and every bow is going to be a little bit different. We're going to go ahead and flip this upside down so you can see it easy. This little pad right here is intended to go on the limb. I try to make sure I go on the limb beyond the parallel point. I don't want it to come loose and go forward. And if you go beyond the parallel point like that is, right there, even if it came loose, it wouldn't go upward. It would go downward. So it won't ever end up not working. Pull that off. I like to keep the cord on the inside of the limb personally. So let me, that way. We'll come around the middle, loop around it there, and see if I can see what I'm doing here. At this angle, it's a little awkward, but that one's going to go there, and this way. There we go. Got it. Okay, bring it back onto the rubber, cinch it down, slide it down. Now, because I'm probably going to take this off the bow at some point, I'm not going to cut and melt that, but this will be the point in which I would cut and melt that knot right there. Now, tighten a little clampy here that appears to be backwards. If you just loosen it a little bit, you should just be able to pull on it and cinch it through there without having to have those two pieces come apart. They did also make a really cool new mount piece here that allows you to just put the cord right through and screw it down and clamp it down, so you don't have this little football or whatever you want to call it. So that part was awfully nice to see an improvement on. However, I don't know why they didn't put it on the rest to begin with. If you're going to, release a new rest, I would think that would be a nice feature to keep to it. But it is a separate part that you can buy. I think they're around 30 bucks. We did get some of them in, but I don't think I've put them on the website yet. So, all right, how's that clearance look? So on this bow, yeah, it lines up right down the pipe. Pretty easy, pretty simple. Clearance looks good. Dimensional fit looks good. It should. It's just an epsilon. It's just like an epsilon. So your orientation points didn't change. You've just taken some weight out of it, lightened it up a little bit. Removed a feature that is nice to have, and then removed a feature that may or may not be necessary, but it made it lighter, and that's a really nice thing that they're paying attention to, which is kind of the theme we're seeing this year across the board. People are trying to make things lighter, so that's what they did here, and they saved you some money while you're at it. Head on over to podiumarcher.com for one of these if that's what you're interested in. They are $199 if I remember correct, other than with my custom bracket, they're $219. Along with all sorts of other little features, including that little bugger over there. I want to say those are like 30 bucks. We have those on there too. Comment down below on what you're looking for us to review or look at or talk about or mention. Always like the feedback down there. I know I don't reply to it, but it doesn't mean I don't read it, people. I really do, for the most part, read it. So I try not to engage because there's just too much of it. I have a hard enough time just answering the Instagram and the emails that I get. So But hey, we've grown a ton in the past year. We're seeing really great responsive feedback from you guys. I really appreciate it. Keep it coming. And I think I've announced the giveaways at this point. Or did I? I don't know. Pretty close though. But they're right there. Coming at you.